Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is episode 2 of Tomahawk versus the World, this series in which we pit the Tomahawk X against everything else in Gran Turismo 7 to see if it really is the big dog of the game. Now, if you remember, we do handicap this car as much as possible, so the handicap for this one will be the 600pp glitch build, so it's much more unstable, and the other cars will get a 1 lap head start. Now let's go and recap and see what happened in episode 1. So in episode 1, the Tomahawk X faced off against the slowest of the slow in Gran Turismo 7, the likes of Samba buses, Willys Jeeps and all that good stuff. There was quite a big spread in terms of the grid, so it had to wait a very long time for the Samba bus to cross, almost like 30 to 40 seconds before it could get going, even after the leader had passed. Pair that with a big accident and a big off, it meant that Tomahawk was really up against it, finally taking the lead on the last lap after underlapping itself. So definitely a very close episode, so let's go and see what it faces this time. So its first rival of the day is the Fiat 500. This is the 1.2 model, the more modern equivalent. Still very slow in terms of performance. I'm expecting this one to be quite a bit off the pace of the rest of the field, meaning it could be this car that the Tomahawk has to wait for, and depending on how the other cars do, it means it could be waiting for a pretty long time yet again. I feel like this will probably be almost like the Samba bus of the previous round. Then we have the Daihatsu Copen. It may look like it's modified, it's literally purely cosmetics only. All these cars are running standard tunes, so they will be as fast as they are out of the factory. This little car, again, another little slow car. Not expecting much from this one. Again, I feel like if anything it will probably hang back with the Fiat more than say some of the other cars that it's going to be taking on. Again, this could be a problem car for the Tomahawk if it's sat waiting a long time, especially if the front of the cars are very quick. It could spell disaster this early on. Then we have the Honda S800, a classic car. Again, it could possibly be one of those cars that sits at the back. However, I'm expecting this one to probably do a little bit better than the likes of the Fiat and the Daihatsu Copen. So this is actually the lowest rated PP of all of the cars. However, it seems to be that it's probably going to have a little bit more power around the high speed ring than, say, the Fiat. Another visually modified car, this is the Honda Beat. I feel like this will kind of be a mid-range car. It may possibly get in its own little battle with the S800, which will be pretty awesome to see. I'm expecting this car to kind of sit in the middle of all of the cars. I'm not expecting it to be up front, but then I'm not expecting it to be as far back as something like the Fiat 500. Again, very underpowered because it's a key car, so there's not much in terms of power, but there's plenty of grip, obviously, with that aero on board the car. Then we have a Mazda. Now it's called the Demio in here. I believe in my country it's the Mazda 2 or 3. I think it's the Mazda 3 over here. Again, I'm expecting this car to actually perform quite well, with it being quite modern in comparison to the likes of, you know, the little Hondas and stuff. I'm expecting this one to probably have a decent showing. I'm expecting it to probably be better performing than the Fiat. So again, this could be a car that is further out ahead in comparison to the rest. And then finally we have the Honda Fit or Honda Jazz, whatever you want to call it, another car that kind of gets translated as it goes across seas. I'm expecting this one to be the standout of the bunch, and there's no reason why this car couldn't just run away from the rest of them. Definitely a bit better on the performance side, and power side is definitely better. Obviously this gets hosted at the high speed ring, so I'm expecting this car to probably be quite a way out front come the end. So away we go. They are starting in performance order, starting with the slowest or lowest performance points first, followed by the highest at the back. So at the back you can see we've got the Mazda and the Honda, and it's looking like the Honda's already making a move. However, a surprising thing to note is just how quick that little Honda S800 decided to shoot off. So very surprising at that. However, the Honda Fit has done exactly what I thought it would and took the lead very early on, leaving the Honda S800 behind. However, that has a decent gap to the likes of the Honda Beat and the Copen. The Mazda, however, looking like it's pretty much caught up there. I don't know if it's a power thing or it's just genuinely the glitchy AI, meaning it's kind of stuck behind some of the slower cars. So as you can see, gaps forming already. We've kind of got a mid pack, a front pack, and then we've got the back of the pack, which is looking like there's 3 cars there. Now if this gapping keeps happening, there's a high chance that it could make a real problem for the Tomahawk. If there is always a standout car and the back of the pack's really slow, then that can really just make it an absolute nightmare for getting through, and especially in terms of trying to dodge the traffic when you're traveling at insane speeds. Now if you don't know, or you weren't here for the first episode, I cannot go until the final car laps the Tomahawk. So last time we had the Samba bus, which was very far off the pace. Pair that with a crash, like I said, it just made it such a nightmare of a run, especially when the front 2 cars were just absolutely away, meaning that we didn't get the pass until the last lap. Now it's not looking like the gap's as big as that. As you can see, the Daihatsu, the Mazda and the Fiat are all very much close together. However, you can see there is a clear gap, especially to the Honda Fit, which is pretty much just shot off and gone, is in its own race at this point. One thing that surprised me was mostly the Mazda's pace. It just genuinely isn't there. Again, I kind of want to put it down to maybe it's kind of being held up by the Fiat, but you would have expected it to overtake by now. So just really kind of surprising how one of the higher rated performance cars in this race is kind of just sat in the middle of a Daihatsu and a Fiat 500. The Daihatsu again hanging around at the back like expected, but the Honda Fit has a huge lead at this point, breaking away into its own race. That has gone through. The 2 little Hondas have gone through in their own little battle, and then at the back we've got all 3 of these cars together, which meaning it's not too bad. However, that is quite a big gap to cover. Now everything's gone across, so the Tomahawk needs to unlap itself and then it needs to do an overtake. This is a 2-lap sprint, so let's see if it's really going to get this job done this time. It's already fully unlapped itself. However, this is the 600 glitch build, so it's very unstable. It has a really weird kind of way to drive it. You can't really use the drag reduction system too much. If you slightly turn just a little bit too much when you've got it on, it will shoot off and sort of start barreling away. It's looking like we've got a pretty clean first opening lap, and it's looking like it's going quite well for the Tomahawk. But where are the rest of the cars, as it's now looking to start making those positions up? So again, we are still P7 and I cannot see another car in sight, so these are definitely moving much quicker than the cars from episode 1. And as you can see, they're all in that little pack together, so it's up to second. But where is the Honda? It's going to be looking like it's just that, yeah, there it is. It just shot by out of shot. So the Tomahawk has taken the lead, a much cleaner run this time, and with the grid not being as spread out, it's definitely been a much easier run than previously. So the Tomahawk is going to take the win again in episode 2 of Tomahawk versus the World. So as you can see, the grid definitely not as spread out this time, so that really did kind of play into the Tomahawk's favour. There's around about 15 seconds separating the rest of the cars. Overall, the gap to the Honda Fit was around about 14 seconds, so that is a higher gap than previously. However, with that grid not being as spread out, it really did make it much easier for the Tomahawk to really get them all and get itself on laps. So definitely a much easier win for the Tomahawk this time. So that's going to be it for episode 2 of Tomahawk versus the World, as we take the Tomahawk against absolutely everything in Gran Turismo 7. It's really awesome to kind of revive these series that I didn't think would probably make a return. However, with the Tomahawk being so relevant again, it did kind of give me the inspiration to be like, okay, let's go and see really how good it is. So I just want to say a big thank you to all my channel members. I want to say thank you to everyone that donates, the people that, like these videos all the time. If you want to be part of this channel, we do make Gran Turismo content each and every day. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn those notifications on, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you so much, guys, and I will catch you later.